Good morning, construction manufacturing students. I'm going to do a quick little tutorial this morning on how we can make a file on Corel Draw and make an outline around the outside, and that outline can turn into our cutout or how we're going to cut a piece of wood. So the difference between raster cutting and vector cutting. So raster is when we burn something on, we kind of the classic engraving, when we engrave a text or an image or something onto a piece of wood. Vector cutting is when we have a set line and the engraver follows that line and cuts a piece out. So to do that, we're going to start a new document like we always have. You can kind of fiddle around here. Roughly, the pieces of wood that I'm going to be making for you to cut your gratitude notes out on are going to be 4 inches wide. So if you want a tall thank you note, it could be 6 inches high, 4 inches wide. You want a wide and short thank you note, kind of a long or a landscape level. We can go height of 4, width of 6. If you're somewhere in a square, it'll just end up being 4 by 4. But roughly, we're all trying to shoot for a 4 by 6. So hit OK. And this will give our drawing board. So just a review. As always, whenever we want to bring an image in, an image to edit, we need to go File, Import. Okay, File, Import. And then I think this is an image I found yesterday. I don't know why you'd want to use this one, but it's a flower, and I thought I'd use it because it'd make an easy example. And then hopefully you don't copy it, because let's be real here. You want to do a flower for your gratitude. But here you go. There's a flower. So we have a flower in. We can kind of get it to size. If you want to get it exactly 4 by 4 or something, make sure you're locked here, and you can take the object size and make that 4. Okay. But then we see it's a little bit wider, but that's okay. I can also go Object, Align and Distribute, Center to Page, and get it right in the middle of my drawing sheet to make sure it's centered right on the 4 by 4. Maybe I'd make it a little bit less just because I can see it's a little bit tall there, 3.9 maybe. And we have everything on the page. Now, if we zoom in here, we can see everything's pixelated. And this will not work for doing a vector cut. So we have to click on the image and do a trace of bitmaps to turn it into vector art. We're going to click on clip art again. We're going to look at what's happening here. And then we can see that, okay, yep, we zoom in and now it's no longer pixelated. It has these nice crisp lines as before. The background is transparent. I always delete the original image just so I don't have to do it later. And we do want to remove the background, but we don't want to remove color from the entire image. We want the middles to be the same, because maybe later on there could be a scenario where you would want to change some sort of inner color to something else. Or maybe you want to, it'd be hard to explain, but there are some images that I've came across in this activity that you wanted to like get rid of this color part of the circle in the middle so you have more room for text, something like that. You can also, if you have a lot of colors and things are being weird, you can change this to black and white, but that is not necessarily required. But I kind of like to change it to black and white just because sometimes on the edges here it'll be gray. Then I'll hit OK, and it will give us this nice clean image. Now, a couple things. When I click on this image, everything's together, and we have this menu up at the top. Okay. If I were to go in right now and make a hairline outline, which is what we need a hairline outline to cut out our image, and we want it to be red. The laser engraver identifies anything as red and hairline as a vector to vector cut, and anything that's black and solid to laser engrave. So if I do that and I just make the hairline, see how it does all these extra lines on here and all the so it's going to cut out every single individual piece, and we're going to have a bunch of little pieces to work with. We don't want that, so I'm going to click back on here. Width, I want none, and color, we can just leave it as whatever. What we need to do here is we need to right click on the image, ungroup all objects, and then we're going to get this menu up top here. And if we go through these, we do a couple different things. We can fuse things together. But today we need to create a boundary. You have to follow this sequence. Well, you don't have to follow the sequence. It makes your life a lot easier. So follow along. If we click on create a boundary, we can see that all of a sudden we have all these little dots around the very outside edge. And this just turned to black. Double click on the little pen, change the color so you can see it to red. I like to use RGB. If you're on CMYK, change to RGB. Make sure you're all the way on the bottom, or you can change the numbers here, and your number should be 25500, which is a pure red. That's what the laser needs to see. And then I'm going to change the width to hairline and hit OK, and we can see that we have a edge all the way around the very outside of our part. So right now, it would first laser engrave this entire image, laser engrave it, laser engrave it, we'd have the flower, and then it would come around the outside and cut it out individually, which is what we want to happen, okay? We want to have an individual part out of a larger one to work with. I'm I'm not going to go over the text. You can add whatever text you want. Don't make it too long. You're going to be writing a thank you note on the back, so you don't need to get here in here and be like, thank you to XYZ teacher for all you did. You made yada, 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 and keep on going. Just make it simple on the front side. On the back, you will write it with a Sharpie. So on the front, we could just say, thank you, you know? And maybe in this case, we see that it doesn't work, so we'd go there. If you need to edit text, remember to come up here to the A with here. That's the text edit box. We could center it, we could move it around, we could change the font, we could make it bold, would probably be a good idea. I don't remember what bold is. Can I control B? I can't. Oh, bold's up there. Make it italicized, underlined. I don't know what you'd want to do. Make it look good. I could change the range kerning, which kind of spreads the letters out. I could make them bigger. Whatever you feel like is the necessary to make it look good. And then especially if you had something centered like this, you could also, of course, go object, align and distribute, center to page. Okay. That was a very quick and dirty explanation on how to use Corel Draw. Hope you followed along there well. Obviously, you've got to make this your own. You've got to make it how you want it. But you do need to have an image, some sort of text that says thank you or gratitude or whatever. And you need to have that red hairline outline going all the way around the outside so we can cut it out. Don't have hairline outlines in the middle because then we're going to have random holes in your pieces. Okay? So go to work, get that done, get it saved. Probably won't get it onto laser graver. We'll get it on a flash drive later, but get it saved for now. Thank you and good luck.